Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest gaming news, rumors, and speculation, and today is going to be a super exciting hype fun time, as we just got the very first teaser trailer for Wayward Realms, a game that is said to be the spiritual successor to the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall, and a game that is even literally being developed by some of the original founders of the Elder Scrolls universe. This is a game I have been covering here on the channel for a while now, as I am super hyped for this game for several very good reasons. Many Bethesda Game Studios fans over the years have stated that they miss the earlier days of Bethesda RPGs when there was a lot more depth, variety, open-endedness, RPG mechanics, and games essentially exactly like Daggerfall. Now, I'm not saying Morrowind or Oblivion or Skyrim or anything like that aren't good games. They actually are truly amazing games in my opinion, and some of my favorite RPGs of all time. I can still pick up any one of those games and have a blast, basically almost as much fun as I had when I first played the game. But with that being said, many RPGs lately have been streamlined, simplified, and in some ways made their open worlds feel a little bit more linear or constricting. And while Bethesda Game Studios may not be guilty of all the things that I just listed here, they are certainly guilty of some of these things, or at least most of them even. And as I just said, it doesn't make their games bad in any way, shape, or form. It's just a different, new modern take of RPGs. But many people yearn for an RPG system similar to what Daggerfall was doing. A system that felt more similar to the character sheet, tabletop RPG mechanics, a game world where the possibilities of immersion and deeper RPG elements take priority, and it seems like this is exactly what Once Lost Games are aiming to do with their first ever project, Wayward Realms. And we just got the very first teaser trailer, like I just said, so I want to break all this down, analyze any important or interesting details that we can find in the trailer, and then give you my overall impressions and opinion of this trailer as well. Now, for those of you who aren't aware of what the Wayward Realms is, don't worry, as before we get to the trailer, I'll give you a quick rundown and summary of what the game is. But if you do already have a basic understanding about this game, then don't worry, as I'll be sure to make this summary as brief but concise as possible. Wayward Realms is the first game being developed by a new game dev studio called Once Lost Games. Once Lost is made up of some of the literal creators of the Elder Scrolls universe, developers who have worked on every Elder Scrolls game, starting from Arena and going up until Morrowind and even Oblivion to some capacity. These devs include Ted Peterson, Julian LaFay, and Vijay Lakshman. These three individuals are legendary as far as I'm concerned when it comes to game development and world building, and while many people attribute Todd Howard as being the face of the Elder Scrolls franchise, to be honest, he actually isn't, or at least not of the entire franchise, maybe of the more modern games, but he actually didn't really join Bethesda until Daggerfall was in development, after the Elder Scrolls universe was already created and the foundation for the universe was set into stone. Todd Howard then did become project lead of Morrowind following Daggerfall, and then the rest is history. So yes, Todd has definitely been an integral part of the Elder Scrolls franchise since Morrowind and even Daggerfall in some ways, but he isn't the creator of the entire universe or most of its amazing lore. He did definitely add to it, but he isn't the original creator. He isn't the OG Elder Scrolls man, like let's say Ted Peterson is, for example. The founders of Once Lost Games are indeed the founders of the Elder Scrolls universe, and the very fact that they created such an amazing game universe such as the Elder Scrolls should already get you hyped for what awaits us in the Wayward Realms. If only Michael Kirkbride could stop by and add his amazing flair of lore to Wayward as well, but alas, who knows what the majestic Kirkbride has been up to lately. Maybe trying to discover a new recipe for real-life skooma. Regardless though, if you like the Elder Scrolls and especially Daggerfall or games with deep RPG mechanics like Daggerfall, then Wayward Realms will be your new main squeeze. So while Once Lost as a studio hasn't made a game and proven themselves quite yet technically, I still feel like they get a huge boost to their reputation and credibility just based on their amazing and dedicated staff and their history with working with some amazing franchises like the Elder Scrolls. That's why I keep mentioning the Elder Scrolls in this video. And they're certainly dedicated, as they've been working for free for years on Wayward Realms as they await a publisher contract. And when a publisher is found, the game's development process will no doubt skyrocket thanks to both proper funding and adequate supplies of skooma. And for a brief description of the game, let's jump over to their official website. It states as follows: under the direction of Ted Peterson and Julian LaFay, veteran game developers, Once Lost Games is creating a new open-world fantasy RPG. This new setting, the Wayward Realms, aims to revivify the RPG genre by applying modern development standards and quality of life advancements to the design philosophy of classic role-playing games. Choice, consequence, scope, and role-playing will be experienced like never before, with in-depth and combat systems, a myriad of complex and dynamic faction relations, and a realistically scaled open world where players will experience a new class of game, the Grand RPG. The Wayward Realms is set on a group of over 100 islands, ranging from small to massive, known collectively as the Archipelago, where scores of factions vie for influence and power. Dynasties strive to maintain the status quo, upstarts seek to earn their place at the top, and intriguing powerhouses set generational plots into motion. Should the player earn a position beside a distinguished seat, he or she may change the course of history. However, they must first prove their worth. Players will venture through strange lands, encountering humans, elves, dwarves, and other races of a more unusual nature, all of whom live within the archipelago and its kingdoms. One such kingdom located on the extreme north is known as Sid, a land of cold mists and rocky coasts. Sid is embroiled in a dynamic struggle for power with its southern neighbors, as both monarchs and factions fight for control of not only the north, but the archipelago itself. Hidden away from the dynastic conflicts of the archipelago lies the Library of Logos, home of the Lore Masters. From this mountain hideaway, they seek out the magical and supernatural, cataloging their world's forgotten knowledge. The safety of the Lore Masters is not assured, however, as the Inquisition pursues them with every step. Devout followers of the goddess Eas, the Inquisition also scours the land for magical beasts and mages alike, but are determined to eliminate any trace of magic which may yet remain. Yet this battle is but one of many, as several factions fight, ally, and betray one another in an ever-changing world. So think like Elder Scrolls Daggerfall mixed with Game of Thrones, and that's just super exciting, dude. How are you not excited for this? Go outside and rethink your life. So yes, this already sounds freaking amazing, and I cannot wait for this game to become a reality. And we are one step closer to that reality as we just got the first teaser trailer for Wayward Realms shortly before I uploaded this video. I'm going to go ahead and play the entire trailer for you real quick here before I give you my thoughts, observations, and opinions. And that was super hype. That was the trailer. Now let's break it down. First off, the beginning of the trailer starts in a dark, ominous forest as a strange, unnatural noise echoes around us. We see tiny spider times running towards my long-lost relative Skullzi. Only the spiders are much smaller than the one we saw in the recent release screenshot. It seems like the screenshot is actually set in the same area as the trailer, so we're just gonna go ahead and call this forest scary-ass Spider Zone. We then see the same character from this concept art riding into the view on a white steed. The character is an orc, one of the many interesting races that dwell within Wayward, and even staple fantasy races like orcs all have their own unique and interesting Wayward lore behind them. The trees in scary-ass Spider Zone are just absolutely huge, making me wonder just how ancient this forest actually is. Definitely a foreboding area, one that you should just not venture into unprepared. And by the way, all of this is actually rendered within the game engine itself, Unreal 5, and I am so hyped to finally play an open-world RPG in Unreal 5. We can see the sunlight trying its best to navigate the treacherous tree branches above, smothering the forest floor below in an eerie, dark haziness. Clearly the devs are paying close attention to atmosphere here, which is awesome and it shows. The orc continues through the darkness on Mr. Horse, seeming to have a set destination in mind. Then all of a sudden we see what appears to be some sort of magical light, whether it's a spell to illuminate the darkness or maybe a wisp or fey creature guiding the player is yet to be determined. determined, but I kinda get good vibes from this little light, so I kinda wonder if it is indeed some sort of magical creature assisting the orc onto the dangerous area he is passing through. It seems to then explode with a pulse of energy and light to get the orc's attention before following said orc into the next scene. We then see the orc walking past some Valheim-like runestone, some lost artifact from times unknown. However, it does look like creative thought was put into the words etched into the stone, making me wonder if this truly is saying something indeed in a language developed by the developers themselves just for Wayward Realms, which, if that is the case, that should just speak volumes for the amount of world building Once Lost is doing for Wayward. The stone itself seems very ancient though, apparently being part of the very rock itself underneath. Perhaps this tablet was carved out of a much larger stationary rock, similar to the shorter but longer one that we see here to the left. We also see what appears to be some sort of urn, barely visible under the tablet itself, making me wonder what could be inside of it, or furthermore, what is this area and what actually was its purpose? Perhaps the answers are found scattered around the area, being protected by giant spiders with angry leggies. Real quick though, totally digging my short neck orc boy's aesthetic here. Very unique and medievalish attire combined with that zazz of fantasy flair. And yes, zazz is indeed a word. Leave me alone. Go level up your zazz, peasant. The forest definitely has an unnatural eerie vibe to it though. The fog seems to be stubbornly clinging onto the landscape as if it was through a curse itself. We can see the little blue wisp following our orc dude on his little adventure times, and then we see the orc seemingly stopping all of a sudden as if he finally found what he was searching for, which appears to be a archway that almost looks like a portal which could just lead into a different reality altogether. It almost looks as if there is a magical doorway beyond the archway itself even, formed between the two giant trees on the other side of the stones. It could just be the archway just leads out of the forest though, and isn't actually a portal at all, but judging by the magical, almost teleportation-like sounds that we hear when the orc seems to pass through the portal and the strange fog effect as well, I'd say it's safe to assume that it very well could be a magical portal of some kind. The orc even seems to get excited and surprised as he rushes through the archway as quickly as he can. There even seems to be a totally different shade of lighting poking through the apparent magical doorway on the other side, but like I said, we don't know if this is a portal or not. That's just the vibes I am getting here. And then after passing through the archway or potential portal or whatever, the orc seems to have appeared on a cliffside almost just magically, overlooking the world of Wayward Realms, and this easily is my favorite shot of this entire trailer, and in my opinion, this was a genius way to end this teaser. I can't help but feel the same wonder and imagination I felt at the start of every other Bethesda RPG from this scene right here. The scope of the world looks enormous and beautiful, full of various interesting points of interest to explore. We see valleys, mountains far in the distance. We can see a city on the immediate hilltop beneath us to the left. We can see several towers perched up on hillsides to keep watch, and we can see a giant wall stretching far into the distance. It makes me wonder what this wall is meant to keep out. Maybe some rival nation, or maybe something much worse and more ancient and dangerous. We also see multiple moons or planets visible as well, giving me even more of those Elder Scrolls vibes. And then we see whatever this orange thing is here, whether it's an ore vein waiting to be mined, or perhaps some mushrooms is yet to be determined. There also seems to be flames or fire shooting out from the top of one of these watchtowers, whether it's magical in nature or just used for the purposes of communicating via smoke signals to other towers far away is again yet to be determined. And then the trailer ends with the game's title card. This is basically everything I noticed from watching this trailer about 100 times over the course of an hour, but what do I actually think of this trailer? I thought it was actually fairly decent up until that last shot right here. Then it got me super excited, super hyped, because just look at this landscape. This game is going to be a huge game, and the size of the world is actually like as large as Great Britain from what I'm told, so we're only seeing a small portion of the actual game world right here, which is just insane to think about. A modern game that huge is nuts to think about. Remember though, the game is still in very early stages of development, so the finished game may look a little bit different than what we see here, or just have different elements altogether. But when I say different, I mean the game probably will be more polished and improved, not worsened. They have been working on this game for a few years now though, but until they get a publisher, development won't be at 100% capacity. Until then, you can count on me to break down everything there is to know about Wayward Realms as development progresses and more information is made available, and I will direct you to go to Wayward Realms' website that I have down in the description below, so that way you can follow them over on Twitter and join their amazing Discord, which is very community-centric. You can actually talk to the devs and give them your opinions on what you'd like to see in the game as well, and they literally will listen to you and give you the time of day, which is just amazing and speaks volumes about how great this dev team is. But that basically finishes up everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. But what I want to know though is, what do you think about this trailer? Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, if you're excited for Wayward Realms, the Elder Scrolls 6, RPGs in general, or if you just enjoy the content, please give the video a thumbs up. Share the video on Reddit and Discord all over the place, because sharing videos is the best way a community can help build a channel, and the YouTube algorithm is kind of like doing bad things to me right now, so I'd appreciate it if you would share the video. And on top of that, the YouTube is also randomly unsubscribing people from the channel. I've been getting a lot of comments of people saying they've been unsubbed, they don't know why. So real quick, please make sure you're subscribed, and if you aren't and you do enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. And as always, if you want to go above and beyond to support the channel and the community, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when the future of RPGs is just looking completely amazing. I just cannot wait. It's a golden age of RPGs for sure to come.
It just works.